How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to show you what it's like to drive the 997 GT3RS 4.0 from a first-person point of view. With a Metzger engine, a track-focused prowess, and a limited production run of only 600 units, the GT3RS 4.0 is one of the holy grails of the 911s. Under the hood is a 4-liter flat six that makes 493 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 happens in 3.5 seconds and a top speed of 195 miles an hour. While they make a 3.8-liter, the 4.0 is the one to get. Limited in production, it also features almost all of the elements from the RSR race cars motor, like a lightened crankshaft and titanium connecting rods. Looks-wise, the GT3RS 4.0 is absolutely stunning. Now, because the rear wing is tilted at a more aggressive angle, providing more downforce than the 3.8-liter, to balance out the downforce in the front, they've had to add canards for the first time in a road-going Porsche right in front of the front wheels, which look super aggressive. I also love the kind of metallic finish on the front grille, which is bespoke for the 4-liter, not present on the 3.8. This is Meteor Gray, one of only 2 in this color, and one of only 39 PTS 4-liter GT3 RSs. What a good-looking car. We've got an enlarged intake for more airflow into the engine right back here, and all of the windows are made of plexiglass to save weight. All right, let's hop inside. Hopping inside the GT3RS 4.0 now reveals an extremely purpose-built interior with carbon fiber bucket seats wrapped in leather and Alcantara. Because this is a European model, we do have a factory roll cage. In the US, it wasn't allowed per regulations. To save weight, we even have straps instead of door handles themselves. To further save weight on the exterior of the car, we don't have a normal Porsche badge. Instead, we have a sticker. To fire up the 4.0, we go ahead and insert the key to the left side of the steering wheel, like all Porsches. Foot on the clutch, and on we go. The clutch is super heavy. We've got a short throw shifter for the 6-speed manual transmission, which feels absolutely awesome. The clutch is super chattery. It makes a ton of noise, which is amazing. As you can see on the instrument cluster, we've got the RS 4.0 badge. In my humble opinion, the 997 is the greatest generation of GT3RS. The steering feel is unbelievable. It's so raw. Everything about this car is purpose-built for the track with 0 levels of refinement. It's loud, it's angry, it's aggressive, and it's uncomfortable, and I absolutely love every second of it. Down by the manual transmission, we have a couple of options to put the suspension in a more aggressive setting, sport mode, the front lift, as well as some traction control settings. We've got climate control above here, and honestly, for 2011, this doesn't actually look that dated for the infotainment. And here you can see this is number 2 of 600. How awesome is that? And even though they save weight in this car, we still have cup holders in the GT3RS 4.0. Sport chrono clock looks absolutely awesome. I love the analog nature of that. The steering wheel is so simple, no buttons whatsoever. Now I think it's time to take it out for a spin. I do find it interesting that the mirror controls are located up here, kind of an interesting location. Behind the wheel of the GT3RS 4.0, I had reviewed the 997 GT3RS with a 3.8-liter a couple years back thanks to the Audrain collection. And instantly after hopping out of that car, I felt like I needed to buy one. And for whatever reason, I decided, let me just wait a bit and see if the prices come down. And unfortunately, they've done nothing but go up exponentially since then. It honestly is my favorite generation of GT3RS. And so I've always wanted to hop behind the wheel of the 4-liter because, of course, this is the holy grail of the 997. And right off the bat, there are some serious differences. The clutch is significantly heavier. You hear rattling when you've got the car in neutral, and the linkage is one of the stiffest of any linkages I've ever felt on a road car. In fact, it feels more stiff than some aftermarket short throw shift kits. And it's just such an unbelievably crazy feeling. The steering is super tight and direct. That's what my favorite part about this generation is. It's so engaging. It feels like they've kind of catered towards making the GT3RS more comfortable over time. And I know that's crazy to say, but if you drive this car and then you drive the 992 generation GT3RS back to back, this feels so much more like a race car. Obviously, the newer car is more capable, it's got more downforce, more grip, etc. But the fact that you can get a GT3RS in a manual with this generation really is what makes it special. And it's the last Metzger engine, as you can see with that really cool license plate on this thing. And it's incredibly rare. The values of these have shot up exponentially. I actually haven't checked prior to this video, but I mean, they're $700, $800 to $1 million plus, which is pretty crazy considering the original MSRP. But as a really limited production car with only 600 units being made, about 150 in the US, there's only 2 in this color and only 39 PTS cars total. This is a car that will hold value and go up forever, and for good reason. It's not just expensive because it's rare, it's also expensive because it's exceptionally good. But before we continue, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, 70My. If you own a car, having a dash cam is a must. A long time ago, some of you may remember that I let somebody drive my Gallardo and they crashed it. Well, a dash cam absolutely saved me. Insurance didn't believe it was worth their time to put it on a frame rack, but when I showed them the video from the dash cam, clearly the car went airborne. It resulted in the vehicle being totaled, and I got a lot more money out of the situation than I would have without a dash cam. 70My is super easy to use and really easy to install. I didn't even need to look at the instructions, and it's got some features I've never seen before on any other dash cam. Not only does it record front and rear in HDR for optimal lighting scenarios. If it's super bright or super dark out, it can adapt to that. It also has advanced driver assist systems like lane keep warnings and collision avoidance warnings. So that means even if you have an older car, you don't have to sacrifice on safety. You can put these new features in your car with the 70My dash cam. It also comes with a hard wiring kit, so you don't have to have those unnecessary cables throughout your car. It's an all-arounder dash cam with smart functions. It has Bluetooth fast pairing. It has built-in GPS with route guidance. It also has a smart parking guardian mode that is activated by collision detection. And because of the GPS, it'll show your exact speed, time, and location of the accident, all super important things when dealing with the police or insurance. The clarity is fantastic in the day and the night, and it even has a special night owl mode for optimal filming in the dark. And one of my favorite parts is the emergency footage in case of a collision is saved in a separate place from the rest of the files, so you're not digging through tons of files to find the one that's actually important to you. So click the link in the description below and get yourself a 70My dash cam today. I actually have a torn hamstring right now, which with this clutch weighing so much more than almost any other car I've driven, this and the GT2RS of this generation have some of the heaviest clutches ever, is a little bit to get used to. Now, it's got really cool technology for 2011. This car actually has computer-controlled engine mounts that when you're going around a corner, sense that and stiffen both the engine and transmission and lock them into place, so you have extra torsional rigidity, and it really increases the driver involvement, and then it loosens up in a straight line, which is something I did not expect to see in a car of this generation. It also has solid ball joints. The suspension is a lot stiffer than the non-4-liter car. Of course, with the wing being tilted downwards and those front canards, you've got more downforce as well, with those awesome Cup 2 tires. Driving this thing on these tight little English roads is quite intimidating. But this is a car that kind of reminds me of a P1 in the sense that you can literally be cruising around at the speed limit, not on throttle whatsoever, and still have a fun time. It's not a car that you have to rev it all the way to its 8,500 RPM red line to have a blast. It's just fun at any speed. Obviously, taking this out on a circuit is the ideal scenario. I mean, come on. That sounds absolutely ridiculous. Compared to modern cars, the acceleration isn't insane, but it's so linear and it just starts to pick up towards the upper RPM range it's an awesome feeling. And it doesn't feel slow by any means. It still feels like a quick car. And apparently, because of the titanium connecting rods, the lighter crankshaft, and that 4-liter, you get more torque down lower. So in the 4,000 RPM range, it starts picking up instead of having to be 5, 6, 7 in the 3.8 liter. But man, this thing sounds absolutely awesome. And it revs so freely. I mean, if you put it in neutral and free rev, it goes to redline literally instantaneously. And for a stock car of this era, it's pretty loud too. I can't even imagine what this thing would be like with an exhaust, but obviously, given its rarity, given the value, modifying it would be a little bit crazy. This thing just sounds absolutely insane. Wow. It actually climbs through the revs so quickly, like shockingly fast. Now, here's the ultimate question. Is the 4-liter worth the premium over the 3.8 liter? And I think it depends on who you are. For me, in my financial situation, I think I would opt for the 3.8 liter because you're getting the vast majority of the car for 3 times less. But obviously, if you have the means and you have a collection, this is the holy grail 997 911. It's much more rare. It's got the ultimate engine. And of course, it is going to be better on the track. It's a little bit more engaging. The 3.8 liter is still an unbelievably engaging car to the point of where, I mean, that's my favorite type of vehicle, right? The reason I have the 600 LT is it's super intense. It's got so much driver feedback. It's got hydraulic steering, and the 997 Gen has all of those to the umpteenth degree. The 4-liter takes it up a notch. And so you can't lose either way. Obviously, if you're spending the additional money, you're probably going to do better financially, and it's a better car. But if you want to save a bit of money and get the 3.8 liter, you're still going to have an absolutely insane experience. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. Special thanks to the Lake House Collection for making this video possible. They're actually opening up a storage facility in Southern California, which I will provide information down in the description below, with some cool events and car meets and just a really awesome community of people. All right, guys, see you next video.